Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? After the Wembley performance, yeah. Leeds' Wembley loss was genuinely a little bit depressing. I say a little bit. Let's move that camera out of the way. That's distracting me. Big depressing. But we're here now. We're after it. We're okay. Mostly. Christ. I just want us to be a normal football team. They get to be happy, you know. But that's okay. That doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen to everyone. Can't happen to us every single time, and it is genuinely a little bit depressing and a sad way to end the season, because it was such a good season up until this point. For 99% of the season, it was absolutely fantastic. And then we got to here. So, let's talk about it. Let's have a proper chat. This is going to be a very to and from the stream chat stream. If you're watching on the VOD, I have a recommendation, because I have a but first. I always have a but first. Normally I say to subscribe, but that's not the but first this time. This time, the but first is that there will be an announcement at the end of this stream. An announcement of something that is coming up on the channel in the next little while. I say on the channel. It's just coming up generally. Like it's a bigger thing than just the channel. But I think it is something that is important to talk about, and something that we will therefore be discussing. But if you at any point have any questions about what it was like at Wembley, what the vibe was, what the announcement was, I'm not going to answer that one until it's time to actually talk about it. But yeah, I'm more than happy to have a chat about absolutely everything. Acom Tony says, hi Joe and Co, I got over it and I'm looking forward to a wonderful season, marching on together. I'm also in a similar place of I'm mostly sort of over it. I am beyond the entire thing. I mean, I'm still sad, don't get me wrong, but I'm in the spot of stuff happens, doesn't it? And stuff will be fine. Next season will be fun. We'll win more games next season now, especially compared to like where we were at in the Premier League last time around. I think the fact that we got 9 wins in a row in the Championship and you need 10 wins to stay up in the Premier League is ultimately like what sort of says, okay, yeah, Championship may be fun. Let's roll with that. But I do have some sort of structure to this, and I'm going to go with the structure to this. And the first bit of the structure to this is we're going to start with the pre-match. We're going to start with everything that went into the match. And there was a hell of a lot, to be fair. Pre-match, at least from my perspective, meant that on Saturday I was working all day, hence all of my videos were pre-recorded for the past few days. Sunday, woke up at something like 6 a.m. Travelled all the way down to land in town, specifically Harrow, where I immediately got the tube zooming in to Wembley to pop into the Parish Bar, which is where a bunch of people from previous square ball walks were. And it was very nice catching up with people. It had also become like a slightly bigger eventy thing, where there was an agreement between the club and the supporters advisory board people, where various like investors in the club would hop in. Angus was there at one point. It was just a very nice vibe. Angus, excellent dude, a very nice man. Larry Nance, very tall man, scary tall man. I don't know how people grow to that size. And I say this as someone that is moderately tall. 1 second, my headphones are wrapped up. There we go. John Richardson popped in. Maisie Adam popped in. Matthew Lewis hopped in. Quite nice. I didn't get any pictures with them because I was like, if I was in your shoes, would I want random people coming up to me? Like other people were, and I totally get it. But like on the square ball walk last year when Matthew Lewis came along, it was just a case of I will ask you for one picture and I will pick a moment to get that picture. And I got it running down a hill in Halifax with him, which was really fun. But yeah, pre-match was really, really good. And then it swung into the atmosphere, because you could tell around Wembley Way, the atmosphere was absolutely banging. It was very, very, very Leedsy. In terms of walking down Wembley Way itself, there were so few Southampton fans making any significant noise. Could hardly see them, to be honest with you. I think that's because they all tried to get in relatively early, and at the end, you could hear them significantly more, but we're talking pretty much at the moment. They also need to learn more than one song, but that seems like a problem for them to solve and not us. Suffered alone, as usual, here in Germany. Cheer me up, please. I will do my best to cheer you up. That's always what I do. This is a jolly place to do streams. Sorry if I keep looking down and trying to sort stuff. I figured if I'm doing the driving streams, I shouldn't have the cheapest wheel thing available, so I got multiple parts for a slightly more expensive one. And it showed up exactly at 1 PM, which is when I was planning on starting the stream, which is really, really good. Yeah, the atmosphere before the match was absolutely bouncing. It was fantastic. But I do think there is a big problem with matches like this, and it was mentioned on the Square Ball. I'm going to mention it because they were completely correct in this. One of the issues that you get with playoff finals is there is an issue with got to go now, vet strip. Hope everything is fine at the very least. One of the big issues that you'll come up against is with Wembley itself. Wembley is, don't get me wrong, an excellent stadium. And you can tell that it's an expensive stadium with a lot of value in it, and fair enough. And there's a lot of value to various shareholders and all that sort of stuff. But throughout, it felt a little bit like Tony and his problem, suffering alone. Because the issue with Wembley is that it is too big, it is too vast, there is too much space in there. So even amongst the Leeds end, from where I was, which was, how do I describe it? Second half, we were attacking down the right-hand side. Roughly there. I was about a third of the way up the pitch, I think, give or take. No, not even that. It was sort of like, I don't want to say it. I was dead in line with the line of defence where the through ball came through for their goal. And I'm not, therefore, that far away from the lead section that is behind the goal, which is where the designated singing section is. But chants in that ground just do not carry. At all. Acoustically, it's fucking dreadful. I imagine it's fine for England matches, and it's fine for songs where they're playing it through the speakers, because everyone's singing at the same time. But the sound gets so sort of messed up and jumbled and bundled that you'll try and listen to something that's happening like, what, a sixth of the way around the stadium from you, and you'll be like, I don't know what's going on there. So no one can join in, no one can get involved, and it's so sort of depressing that there were so few moments where everyone got a nice little sing-along together at Wembley purely because of how the ground works. I don't like it. I don't think I like Wembley. And it's genuinely not because we lost, because the vibes were fantastic for a hell of a lot of the day, and then you got in the ground and it was like, it saps the energy out of you a little bit, which is a little bit of a pain. But if anyone else has done Wembley, let me know what you think, because that felt odd. There's also another issue that I had that was, and I'm sure that it's completely fine for England matches, but going half and half makes sense, but you've got so much corporate stuff in there that maybe that's part of what breaks things up a little bit. And again, England matches, everyone's on the same side, so everyone is roaring on, supporting the same side. It doesn't hugely work a lot of the time. I don't know. It sort of bugged me. Wembley did. Diving into it then. The match started, which is when the atmosphere started to get sort of eked out a little bit. Football's an excuse to be able to sing without getting arrested. Absolutely. It's your opportunity to sing about the alleged crimes of your Prime Minister without people putting you in prison for it, and that's quite fun. But diving into it, for the first 10 to 15 minutes, I felt like the performances of the players were absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. It was so visceral. And you could tell that the players were getting behind it. You could tell that we were creating some nice chances, building some passing moves, and that was quite good. I don't know how it looked from the other perspective, but I didn't hate it, to be honest with you. That first 10-15 minutes, up until they scored, to be honest, it felt like we were controlling the match. And then they got the one chance. And then Ethan Ampadu got sort of dragged up. Didn't work out. It was annoying. We are composters. The seats are too big. You need to feel your neighbour's sweaty armpit for a good atmosphere. That's the thing. I was a little bit taller than the people to both sides of me, so they would be sniffing my armpit, and I'm not as down for that as I'm sure other people would be. Some people, fine. If you enjoy sniffing some armpit, or you enjoy having your armpit sniffed, go for it. But not for me. Maybe there's an argument that there's a little bit too much leg room. Like, it was nice to be able to sit down and like not bang my knees on the seat in front of me. But I don't know. It felt too roomy. It felt like I had a little bit too much flexibility in that. Because if you're more compact this way, one, you get more seats in. Two, you can sort of pick up the noise from 15 rows back a lot easier because you're closer. And then it just sort of builds songs a little bit easier. And bloody Wembley, don't like it. I'm here to remind people, I did say we should have had the same lineup as Carrow Road. You did, but at the same time, does the same thing happen in that case as well? Because we did create a few reasonable chances. But I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not some armpit pervert. You literally just talked about sniffing your neighbour's armpit. I don't think you've helped yourself in that little bit of conversation, to be honest with you. I understand your point, but you are beating 0 allegations with that, my friend. On the subject of allegations, singing about Rishi Sunak. Yeah, when it came down to the player performances across the pitch, I felt the first half we were fine until we conceded, and then we sort of dropped back into being Leedsy. Because Southampton were able to just say, okay, now you can play in front of us. And we didn't have the best of answers to that, because Somerville would do that thing where he picks up the ball and he tries to cut inside, but he can't cut inside, so he'll just pretend like he's going to go outside, like desperately waiting for an opportunity to cut on the inside. And then it won't happen, because he's not had that chance open up, and then we pass it back to Glenn Kamara, and then it goes to Ethan Ampadu, and then it goes to Rodon, then it goes to Meslier, and then we end up cycling and cycling and cycling, and we do the horseshoe of doom stuff, which is what happens when we concede the first goal. And I think for the most part, defensively, we were fine. They had a one-on-one and a second one in the second half, but at that point, we're just chasing the game, and it doesn't matter too much. Annoying. Cardiff Stadium is better than Wembley. I haven't experienced that one, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm sure I'd agree, but I just wouldn't be able to tell you. I've had a bit of a thought that I can probably just get the chat up on StreamYard, but that feels like it could be a bit tough. Also, my eyebrow is doing the thing again. I went to a new shampoo, and it's playing havoc with the old eyebrows, but that's okay. Yeah, and then second half things started basically the same way, which not great. And there were a good few people saying that we knew that we needed to make changes, and that is completely fine. But in the moment, I do see that it's very hard to change Crescencio Somerville and Jorginho Rutter, because those are the players that out of nowhere can just do things. But it turns out, I really feel that we should have brought Dan James on a little bit sooner. Because I'm going to dip into the changes now, and I'm going to bring up a very quick bit of whoscored.com to look over the timeline of the match, because I feel like Dan James came on a little bit too late. Because we know that he can have the movement that makes a difference, because he did. The player that made the biggest difference in this game was Dan James, because when he comes on, you know that you're going to get that direction. You know that you're going to get him going, okay, I'll just run at you, and then we'll be completely fine. And then he ran at them, and then things actually started to happen. And I also feel like it was maybe a mistake leaving Piru on for as long as we did. Because playing Piru in the first place, fine, that's the right choice. Because he performed well enough for Elland Road to have earned his place in the playoff final. Okay, that's all good. It's what comes afterwards that is a little bit of a pain, I think. Just need to make sure that I've uploaded something. I have. Okay, cool, fantastic. So let's bring that up. Let's cut to it with a little bit of a screen share, shall we? Share screen, share Chrome tab, that Chrome tab, Fandabidozy. Boom. Right, there we go. Did we give away a lot of free kicks around the box? I genuinely don't remember any of that. Although I will say that I don't know how this looked at home, and you're going to have to let me know in the chat how it looked at home. But I felt like the referee was a bit dreadful. Example number one that riled everyone in the ground up was the Somerville yellow card. Because I'm still not entirely convinced that should have been a booking. I'm not entirely convinced that was a foul. Somerville went in slide tackly, but he did it where his legs were tucked. So this being shin, he's going shin first. He's in control, and I think he wins the ball. But I've not watched any highlights from this match back at all because I don't usually want to. Should I do that? Should I watch back the highlights? We'll find out. I'll find out what you guys think first, and then we'll work it out. So slow getting forward. Somerville and Nonto dreadful. James had 6 dribbles, 5 complete. Somerville and Nonto 3 non-complete. James had 30 minutes. Yeah, I think this is, for some reason, teams brilliant. Thank you. This is about it. We didn't have the directness that we need, that we are good at having, that we are used to. And that sort of damaged the way that we played. Because when we do direct football, we do it really well. But a lot of the time, we just don't. And then we don't quite discover why that doesn't pay off. Which is irritating. Let's have a quick look. More shots than them. Brilliant. Doesn't hugely matter. Set pieces, not really good enough. Counter-attack. That was the one towards the end, wasn't it? That counter-attacking shot. The one that flew over, which... it's fine. Did they have 2 set-piece shots? I genuinely don't remember them. Right, the chat is leaning towards watching the highlights back on the stream. If it starts looking like it's going to copyright claim me, I'm going to stop. Just to be completely clear on that one. Oh god, the extended highlights are so long. Don't know if I want to watch the full 11 minutes. Okay, I'll do a second poll. We will watch the highlights, but which ones? Which highlights do we do? The EFL ones? Do we do the Southampton ones? Or do we do the Leeds ones? Which is still a little bit short for my liking, 4 minutes. Biggest problem was being over on in midfield. Rutter was double marked and Kamara and Grove were facing 2v3 battles. Yeah. This is where adding to the midfield would have been good. And we did towards the end, but the player that we added to the midfield was Joel Piru. Which, when you're trying to win a midfield battle, is not the player that you really want to be adding to that mix. Tired of the slow build-up and side-to-side nonsense, Kamara and Gruev are too defensive. Issue is, when you go direct, you get countered against, which is a problem that we face quite a bit. They didn't have that many opportunities from it, but still tried. Right, go on then. Let's do the Leeds highlights. I've got to find a way to do this without getting a copyright strike, haven't I? Okay. On this one, if you can tell me who is a better manager that would come to Leeds, then maybe you have a point. But do you really want to enter the current managerial merry-go-round as it is right now and sort of hope it works? Because that feels risky. It feels a bit wild. Right. I'm trying to work out how to stream that without it copyright striking me. Steve Cooper, is he better? Really? And if we think he is better, then that's genuinely a little bit depressing. Yeah, I know we don't need a new manager. That's what I'm agreeing with. Right, let's go for display capture. Monitor 2. Which square pegs are going in which round holes? Okay. And then if we're in the championship with a manager that wants to win it twice. Yeah, exactly. And we keep forgetting we've got 90 points. 90. It's quite good to get 90 points. Right. So display capture is up. I could flip it horizontally. Which would help. And because I really don't want to lose the revenue on this stream or have this stream taken down, considering what I'm doing a little bit later. Mess with the transparency of it. Can you download the video and then make it smaller? Not really. Sod it. Sod it. I've flipped it horizontally. If that doesn't work, then that doesn't work. There is an extra camera. Never mind. Nope, no, that's the wrong thing. Hey, there we go. Wait, hang on. Oh god, everything's falling apart. And then... Wait. Right. That goes there. Okay. Close any other applications that might be using your camera or mic, and then refresh the page. If that doesn't work, try restarting your browser. I can't do that! Because it's the other thing that's bloody streaming it. Right. Don't like Wembley, the acoustics are awful, you can't even hear your own fans at times. There were 3 Leeds songs being sung at the same time. Yeah, that's what I kind of hated. It's part of the reason that I was very anti-Wembley, to be honest with you. Because it just didn't work. Right, sod it. I'm just going to screen share and hope that it works. Boom. Dear EFL, please don't kill me. Well, let's go for it. How do? That was a bit depressing. I did say earlier in the season that Farke is tactically naive. I'm not far correct, but that loss falls down to him and a pair of lazy wingers. Yeah, I think if we've got James on earlier we win that. But oh, okay, it does justice to how hard it was raining because at the start it was pissing it down. You see, looking at that, I don't know what changes we could have made. Because Georgie was the one player that seemed to be like creating free kick opportunities. That was a good stop. I'm not sure where it was going, but okay, yeah, that's a good save. I don't know what people like have said in response to it, but that's a decent pair of hands on that. Right. Right, let's frame by frame this boy, shall we? Okay. Right. Okay. In the ground, I thought it was Rodon playing him on side that was the problem. Looking back, you need Gruev over here, and you need Ampadu covering his man. Gruev has seen it, but there's no shot of him getting back in time. That's Ampadu getting drawn in a little bit too early, which isn't the mistake that you want to make, really. Then it's 1-on-1, and I don't think there's many keepers that save that. Bugger. Right. Let's skip the goal scoring because that's annoying. And we'll go back to normal speed. That's a decent stop. I had completely forgotten about that. That is a good save. And there's not much more he can do to palm it away. Did we really not have that many chances in the first half? Did we just have all the ball and not create with it? It felt like we could have done more, but I feel like at the same time, I don't know if we had shots coming off of that. Right. Oh, Rodon needs to hit this so much earlier. And I was certain that shot was going in. That's not that wide either. Right, this is the one. This is the moment that I'm so hopeful. This little 1-2, delicious. This shot, I thought was in. I want to hear the crowd back on that one, actually. This might be what gets the copyright dickheads knocking on my doors, but it's fine. Let's have a listen. That's the wrong thing that I've done that on, isn't it? There we go. I was certain that that was in. Also, can I note this foul here? Watch here. It's not a foul. He's headed it before Anthony's been able to get his foot above about here. It's not a high boot if he's not kicked all the way into it. And Anthony's committing to the kick. Anthony's committing to the kick before he's committing to the header. So this being a foul is pathetic. It's not. Oh, it was so close. I'm not entirely sure what highlights are still to come. Dan James was our entire threat. Oh, it's such a nice hit as well, the way that's spinning. I've just made myself sad again. I don't know why I've done that. No, that feels like a bad move. But you know what? We're here. We've committed. We're sad. But that's okay. We all get sad sometimes, don't we? Hola, Lux. How do we do? That was silly. You need to watch these things back sometimes, don't you? Hamish Schmoddix or O'Hare, who would you take? Schmoddix is probably the cheaper option. And he's the option that scores a hell of a lot of goals in the Championship, and he's very direct. Imagine a pairing of, like, because I know that this season we've played a lot with 210s. Imagine the pairing of Rutter and Schmoddix, with Rutter creating the chances for Sammy Schmoddix. Oh, delicious. German right back won't be coming now, will he? Maybe not. No. Maybe that's a very, very tough sell for us to try and do. James was the only one that was trying to get behind them. The other wingers wanted it to feet and made it easier to defend. Yeah. Dan James's style was just perfect for this match. So when he came on, he made a big difference. Same with Matteo being a lot more direct. Caused them problems, but what are you going to do? Making you hungry with that thought? Absolutely. Blackburn want 15 million for Schmoddix. For a team that just barely managed to stay in the Championship last season. I mean, I can see why they're asking for that much, but I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed that they're asking for that much. I'd rather they weren't. I'd rather they make things easier for us. Let us leech off their players. Hamer all day. Yeah. The issue is cost. Because we've got lovely cash flow stuff to deal with. I've seen a lot of people talking about the 70-odd million quid that we need to pay back in the summer as well. That's not FFP stuff, so we can ignore it. That's not a problem. It's fine. That's more cash flow things that I feel like the 49ers can effectively deal with and will be dealt with via transfer outgoings no matter what anyway. So, yeah. He's quite old too, Schmoddix. Yeah, that's why I thought that it'd be a lot simpler to sort the money stuff. But I didn't know that the Blunts were cash strapped. So we can get him and weaken a promotion rival. I don't even know if they're a promotion rival. I know they're in like really bad shape right now. So they're going to be a bit tough. He's the wrong profile for us anyway. He's more of a counter-attacking player and needs the ball played in behind early. But that's the thing. When we do the transitional stuff, I think it works. If we lean into transitions a bit more next season, I think we're all right, to be honest with you. Anyway, my man of the match is a pretty obvious choice. And I want to see what you think in the chat. Who is your man of the match for this one? Mine is, as you can probably tell, going to be Dan James. For obvious reasons, in part because he gives absolutely everything for the shirt. All of it. There's nothing more that you can ask of Dan James. Especially when you're seeing things like this. Goes in for a 50-50 header. Comes out having not won the header. But this happens. And oh, wow. Hefty one. One that I was convinced would need to be a concussion substitution. And he stayed on. And I'm going to have a quick click through the highlights video, actually. Yeah, and had our second best chance of the match after that. After he's had his head turned into a blended tomato. Everything for me. Brilliant. Fantastic player. Dan James first choice next season, stepped up when Nonto started falling over. Yeah, I genuinely think perfect. Have you seen the pic with him in stitches? He's been proper busted up. Yeah. I saw that one, but I sort of made the decision to show this one because this gives a much better idea of like the moment. In the moment, how that must have felt. That must have been like, I'm done. I'm not gonna do anymore because why would I do any more? Ouch. But looking back on it, you've got to sort of think, yeah, maybe, just maybe, he's done what he needed to today. And there's not more that we can ask of Dan James. Yeah, that's where I sit on it. My head hurts looking at that. Yeah. And I was looking at it from the other side of the ground, and at first everyone was like, get up, let's not time waste. We're towards the end of this match, we need to win. And then everyone went quiet because clearly someone towards the front of where he went down had been like, that's not great. And it sort of spread that this is bad. And you could sort of tell it was really bad when he went off because he had to change his shirt and his shorts. And I'm not entirely sure on the socks, probably not. But yeah, it didn't look like a fun one, to be honest with you. And the fact that he kept playing through it is insane. And then you got the aftermath. Then you've got after the game. And after the game was a bit wow. Because a lot of people had just left at full time, had been like, right, I'm calling it, we're done. I didn't go that way. I decided to stick around until everything was been and gone and done. Because I felt like it was sort of important. Because I wanted to see everyone's reactions. And the reactions I did get, I pinged to a Mr. Joe Wayneman. So I'm going to sort of bring them up. First one, I'm going to have to do a screen share here. Yeah, first one I got was everyone stood in front of the people that were remaining and Georgie just being desolate. Horrifically down. Understandably, because the amount of pushing that this side had done all season long only for it to collapse was painful, to be honest, and I get it. Poor Georgie, I think he's bipolar, because his emotions are either high or low, no in between. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, I can understand why this was such a low. He's someone that allows himself to feel his feelings, and I've seen people saying that, like, this is just an attempt to sort of, like, make people feel for him, but with the way that he's responded to absolutely everything this season, I 100% feel like that's the way he was feeling. No doubt. And I pinged a message to Joe at the time when he was on his post-match reaction stream. And the way that he was just walking around sort of in tears trying to applaud everyone was, okay, this is unfinished business territory. It feels like Georgie will want to be here next season because I have no doubt he feels like he's not done his bit to get us back to the Premier League and there's more that he can do. People are saying that it's a goodbye cry. I don't know. No, he was absolutely heartbroken. That ruined him. But the thing is, that kind of pain, you need to use it. And I think he will. I think that will push him. I think that'll push him to the next level next season. And the other one I got was something that reminded me of Rafinha. It was this. And I'm not sure what it means, to be honest. For Crescencio to be having a little bit of a pray after the match. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. But I feel like I don't know. You can interpret this however you want. I've not seen anyone really discussing it afterwards, but Cree and Archie were the last players out on the pitch. Archie's around here somewhere, just sort of still taking it in. He's not headed back in yet. But Cree having a bit of a pray, I don't know where I sit on it. Because I don't know if that's praying for Leeds to be okay next season. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll find out. I disagree on this one, by the way. People are allowed to feel their feelings. And if you've pushed for an entire season to try and get promoted and things don't go well, the way that you express that is completely fine. If you want to have a cry, have a cry. It's okay. And it's this sort of like relatively toxic. I'm not saying that you are being toxic, it's more like the general mindset that sort of infects football a little bit. The mindset of if you're a dude and you have cried as a way of expelling your feelings, you should feel bad for that. And it's like, no, come on. He's put an entire season of his life into trying to get this club promoted, and it's not worked out at the last minute. And if that Dan James goal goes in, everything is different. I feel like we go up if that Dan James shot goes in. But it didn't. But the fact that he's feeling bad about that isn't something for us to complain at. It's something for us to go, okay, that level of investment, I can appreciate. That's fine. But anyway, what next? Leaving Wembley, by the way, was weird because I've waited a while. At this point, I think Southampton have lifted the trophy, but I head out relatively sharpish. I'm a quickish walker. And a bunch of shirts a good way in front of me are Southampton fans. I was like, what are you doing? Be in there, be happy, win properly. That annoyed me more than I wanted to. How do you mean, who is he crying for? If you invest yourself 100% into getting something done for a year, after already being part of a club that goes down, yeah, it's this. It's frustration. It's frustration that you couldn't get it across the line. It is sadness that you couldn't bring the thousands of people that came to watch you the happiness that they wanted. It's that. And the fact that we're putting it down to, like, it's for the cameras. No, because he's not an Oscar-winning actor. Come on. Because it's been a good season overall. The only reason we've not gone up is the mess up the start of the season in August because Farker didn't have a full preseason, didn't have a full window, and we had players leaving until the last moments. And combined with the fact that Leicester and Ipswich have had insane seasons means that this is the first time since, was it 1988 or 98, something like that, that a club has gotten 90 points and not gone up. It's a freak season, and not going up in a freak season isn't a reason to get rid of a manager. Anyway, I want to know what you think. I've got a couple of minutes before I need to do the announcement bit, but I will dive into that in a moment's time. But let me know what you think in the comments. We'll find out. Guess you were brought up in a tougher part of town. It's less that and more, there's that old mindset of, like, not expressing yourself is rough and tough, and that's manly. And it's like, sure, if that's your way of looking at it, but at the same time, I think there's a certain, like, I can respect having the vulnerability, to be honest with you. Like, if you're saying you don't need ballers, Archie was crying on the pitch. Are we getting rid of Archie as well? Or is it just a generational thing? No. Farker and give him a balanced squad to go again. Absolutely. Get a proper number 10. That is actually a number 10, rather than Georgie, who's more dribbly. I think he's more inside forward off the wing. And we'll be right, basically. I don't think there's a need to panic. I think it's fine. I don't hate the Championship. Well, I do a bit, but not as much as some people do. Mike Tyson was terrified before every fight and often cried his eyes out after a win, let alone a loss. That's a good point. Yeah, bring up Mike Tyson and how you don't win a fight with Mike Tyson, or do you? Let people express themselves. Fuck it. There's no harm in it. People being happy, people being sad, let them express that because that's fine. That's an okay thing to do. Anyway, diving into it. As I mentioned earlier, I can't find where I am here. We got a bit of an announcement, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to note down the time in the recording at which I've made this announcement because I'm going to put it up as a separate video as well. But this is a pretty hefty one that I would quite like people to sort of stick around and share around because it's something that means a hell of a lot to me. Yeah, that as well. People will get stick for not crying too, which is weird. People feeling their emotions and not feeling their emotions are both wrong and need to be dealt with, apparently. Right, anyway, announcement-y bit. So, keep your comments coming in whilst you're doing this. I'm going to do a question-y, answer-y bit, if that's okay. But we'll get into it. Everyone forgot Bielsa didn't do this well in the first season. We're building and it's looking better than we did last year. Proud of them all. Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day. Leeds weren't built in a season. We're barely built, and it's been, what, 105 years? Oh, thank you. I like this little drum roll. Right, I'm going to do a proper, like, video recordy, start-y setup thing, and should be quite fun. Ow, throat. I am doing something genuinely stupid. So, everyone that's been sort of around here will know that I do a quiz called Balls Knowledge that is for Prostate Cancer UK. And Prostate Cancer UK is something that is really close to my heart. I'll get into that in a little bit more detail further down the line. But that isn't all that I'm doing. Doing a fairly hefty event, something a little bit bigger. And I've done a couple of challenging walks before for charity, for Andy's Man Club and Samaritans. So I thought I'd do similar this time around. So I'm going to announce that I am planning on doing the Leeds Like Wake Walk. What is it? Basically, you will be asking because you'll have no idea what it is. It's based on something called the Like Wake Walk, which is a 42-mile walk that happens over a 24-hour period. It's big. The most I've done in terms of walks in a day is something like 27 miles, 28-ish, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. And I've modified it a little bit just to make it a little bit more accessible for people. And it goes from Osmotherley in North Yorkshire to Whitby, which is on the coast. In essence, it is going across the entirety of the North York Moors, which is scary. Yes, it's very, very long and will take a little bit of time, but it's something that I'm really looking forward to doing, and it is all for Prostate Cancer UK. It is a cause that means a hell of a lot to me, and I don't want to get too sad and cryy because I'm recording this on a live stream and I've been told that crying is wrong. But the way that I want to sort of explain it is basically a few years ago, I found out that my granddad had prostate cancer, which hit me like a train. Ouch, basically. But then I found out a few months later, or a couple of years later, I'm not entirely sure on the timeline, that he got better because there were experimental treatments that were used on him that made sure that he was okay, that pulled him back. And that was huge. That meant the world because I loved that stupid man so much because he was such an optimist. He was a fantastic person, in essence. And last November, I'll go slightly different actually. Last October was my wedding. And I was really looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to getting everyone together, and I was really excited. And I found out a week or so before that he couldn't make it, and that just shattered me a little bit. And I found out that he couldn't make it because he couldn't see properly, and that wasn't great. And then a month later, the next time I saw him was in a hospital bed, and the day after that, he passed away. And that hit me a little bit like a train again. And basically, what I decided was that looking back, I want to do things that sort of celebrate his victories, celebrate his wins, celebrate his good stuff. And in my lifetime, the biggest victory he had was beating prostate cancer. And that's why I'm putting all of this behind Prostate Cancer UK. And the reason that I'm doing this 42-mile walk is because that's something else that he did. When he was younger, he took part in the basic version of the Light Quake Walk. So I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to throw together the walk that he did and one of his bigger victories in that regard with supporting Prostate Cancer UK. Because it meant a lot to him. At his funeral, there was fundraising for Prostate Cancer UK, and I just want to sort of do that brilliant man justice in the best way I can. So that's what I'm going to do. That's why I'm doing it, basically, in order to properly celebrate one of the best men that I've known. You might be wondering a little bit about the route. You might be thinking 42 miles, that's fine enough. You can probably do that. You've done 27 miles in a day before. It's a little bit more. I'm going to quickly do a little bit of a route share. This is what it looks like. I couldn't quite get it to 42 miles because I had to faff around and add this little loop into it in order to get where it is in the first place. But we are starting in the little village of Osmotherley, which is where the standard version of the walk starts. Head north through Swainby, by the towns of Carlton and Cleveland, Kirkby, Great Broughton, through Battersby, a little bit of a loop up to Kildale here, just to add a little bit more distance, along to Castleton Moor, to Danby, down, not quite to Glaisdale, screw you Glaisdale, over to Brigsworth, and eventually ending the walk at Whitby Abbey. And yeah, that seems to be the plan. Whether or not it's a good plan, I don't know. I'm sure that this 41.76 will become a 42 by various detours and getting lost. The total ascent, the vertical walking, because this is all over moorland, is over a mile, which is going to be a little bit wild. Not sure what the weather's going to be on the day. It's from the 3rd to the 4th of August. Yeah. Looking at it now, it's a bit bonkers because I scrolled out earlier and I was like, oh, I can see that on a map of the country, which was a tiny bit spooky. But the idea is we're going to start at something like 3 p.m. Use the August sunlight as much as we can to get as far as we can before it gets dark. I don't know whether we'll be resting or stopping or anything like that. It's expected to take about 19 hours, so 11 a.m. roughly to stop in Whitby, which should be quite nice. Assuming that we make it the entire way, I'm really hoping that we do. If we take more than 24 hours, we take more than 24 hours, but that's what we're pushing to do. And the important thing is this isn't just a me thing, because there's ways that you can help. You can help to keep an eye on things as they go. You can help to donate to the Balls Knowledge stuff that I've been doing in terms of the quizzes. You can just watch those videos because all that ad revenue is still going to Prostate Cancer UK. All my channel membership money is still going to Prostate Cancer UK. And importantly, you can donate as well. We know that Prostate Cancer UK is a great cause and it has saved people's lives. countless. I don't know the number of people's lives that is saved, but it's a massively important cause for so many people because they push new treatments forwards again and again and again and again and again, and they make the difference. And even though my last memory of my granddad is seeing him in a hospital bed, if it's not for Prostate Cancer UK, I don't have a few years of memories leading up to that. And that's the difference that it makes to everyone. And in addition to that, keep an eye on things, because I will be asking various Leeds YouTubers if they want to take part. I'll be asking various people if they want to sort of do videos with me, and push the event out a little bit just so more people are aware, because that is going to be absolutely huge for it being a success. And yeah, ultimately, thanks for watching. I hope you are happy to sort of push this message thing out because it's really important. And yeah, if you want to help in any way, let me know. I'm a Twitter DM away. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you have any suggestions for any content I can make around the entire thing, anything else you'd suggest that I do. I'd say I hope you enjoyed, but this isn't the happiest video, but it's fine. Yeah. Either way, I'll see you later. God, that's a long walk. And I think with that, I'm going to end the stream in a moment because that has moderately hit my mood. Yeah. I was hoping for a happier end to stream, but doing it like that just sort of seemed right. I didn't really want to do that at the start and then have everyone sort of like brought down. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream now. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of a natter about what's going on with the walk, what happened at Wembley. I've got a nice little, if it's going to show, it's not going to show now, is it? There we go, nice little overlay poster thing that I'm going to put on various social media. So if you are following me over there, please share it. That'd be massively appreciated. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Parker's report staying if that lifts your mood. Oh, we knew that was happening anyway. But thank you, I appreciate it. Also that, yeah, hit the like. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. I will see you later.